few people have inquired about the dimensions of my furnace, so I'll go have a quick walk around with the tape measure. And here we go. The vent hole at the top is 150 millimeters in diameter. The thickness of the lid is 75 millimeters high. The furnace inner diameter is 350 millimeters, and the wall thickness is 95 millimeters. Furnace depth (375 millimeters high. These are the three crucibles I use in the furnace for melting iron. This one here is an A6, this one's an A12, and this one I'm not sure about, but I think is close to an A20 size. And now I'll give you the diameter of the crucibles. The A6 is 130 millimeters. The A12 is 175 millimeters. And the largest crucible, I think is an A20, is 200 millimeters in diameter. This is the A6 crucible. It is 170 millimeters high. This is the A12. It is 220 millimeters high. This is the largest crucible. And its height is 250 millimeters. Now I'll set the A6 in first. The top of the crucible is 115 millimeters just below the lid. And now we'll measure the A12. The top of the crucible is 120 millimeters below the lid. And now we'll put in the largest crucible. The largest crucible, the top of the crucible is 80 millimeters below the lid. Now, in case you're wondering about the dimensions of the crucible pedestals I use, they are 50 millimeters high and 100 millimeters in diameter. Now, some have inquired about why that's there. I used to use 2 vacuum cleaners, but now I only use one really powerful vacuum cleaner. All that does, it just blocks off pipe. This is the propane line. It terminates just inside the pipe. It does not go all the way into the furnace. The only pipe that goes to the end, almost the end of the burner, is the oil pipe. Here's an interesting tip. This mould is very heavy, plus it's got a very heavy pattern in it, and when I want to flip it over it tends to fall out because I can't hang on to everything at once. So this is what I do to prevent that from happening. Put the board on there. You use 4 clamps. what you do. Get the other two on. Put them there. And there. Then you roll it over. Oh, it's heavy. Drag it over. Take the clamps off. And take the board off. And it's done. This mould has a large surface area. It's an oval shaped plaque. It's a house number. Now it needs lots of clamps. There's 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. If you don't do that, they will leak. They're a large surface area, and that's why the board covers virtually the whole top of the box. So make sure that the sand doesn't lift, but also it doesn't leak. And if you're wondering what that clamp's for, that is my aiming point. When I'm going from this mould here, it's only a smaller amount of metal, and it's still hard to aim when the crucible is nearly full. So that's why that's there. And also that one there will have an aiming point as well. Here are the results of my sloppy pouring and not aiming the crucible properly. There's number 1, number 2 spill and number 3. And if you'd like to, put it in the comment section. Why didn't the cast iron explode when it hit the concrete? Usually that's what everyone says happens, but this time it didn't. Here is where the iron leaked out of the mould, and the reason being I only used one clamp, and that mould there only has one clamp, and it's exactly the same as the previous mould, and that would have leaked as well. And now I'll weigh just how much I spilt onto the concrete floor. 1.442 kilograms. That must be a record. Well, today's pour turned out really terrible. I'm reluctant to knock out the moulds, but I have to. I don't think too many of them turned out. This one here is the thinnest casting. Oh, look at that. See how thin it is? Filled up the mould. Might salvage some success out of today. And now we'll see what this one looks like. Well, look at that. It filled up the mould. I have got some successes today. It's still quite hot. Here is the house number. It's been all cleaned up and painted and looks really nice. And to give you an idea of the size of it, it's 485 millimeters across.